Today I'm going to read you one of my short stories from my Elements of Mystery collection. Number 27, Cobalt. And this is an excerpt from my novella, Cobalt Cauldron, part of my witch series. 1894 Egypt. Mom, I'm getting dirty. Violet Manchester pouted. The 6-year-old accompanied her parents on a dig in Egypt, and everything Egyptian fascinated her. Today is the last day digging in Luxor. Next, we'll go to the museum in Cairo. Bartholomew, Bart for short, held his daughter's hand. You're being a very good girl. Thank you, Daddy. Staring at her father's adoring face, capped with long blonde hair, she admired his magical eyes, one green and one blue. Violet inherited the Manchester family trait of magical eyes from both parents. She inherited her long black hair and ivory complexion from her mother, but she'd yet to come into her powers of witchcraft yet. That's my big girl. Picking her up, he placed her on his hip. What's your favorite part about Egypt? Basking in her daddy's adoration, she contemplated his question with her index finger touching her chin. The pyramids and the Sphinx. Those are my favorite things too, but we'll see some cool stuff tomorrow, like mummies. Violet fainted and a vision flashed through her mind. A gold mask with the image of a handsome boy appeared. The gold mask was part of an ornate sarcophagus. A mummy was placed inside of it, and the room was surrounded with treasure. The walls were painted with pretty pictures, including 2 Egyptian figures. The burial chamber's entrance was sealed with stone doors carved in hieroglyphs. The vision of the tomb zoomed out to the surrounding landscape of the desert. Tutankhamun, she whispered. What's wrong with her? What happened? Olivia, Violet's mother, wailed. I don't know. Her eyes just went blank, and then she fainted. He knelt next to his little girl. Is it the heat? Give her some water. Olivia held her daughter's hand. When Violet opened her eyes, her parents huddled above her with worried expressions. Mommy? Daddy? Oh, thank God, Violet, you're awake. Her daddy sighed. Sitting up, she asked, Who's Tutankhamun? You mumbled his name. Tutankhamun was the Pharaoh of Egypt from 1332 to 1323 BC. They called him King Tut for short. He ruled at the age of 9, but died when he was only 18. He married his half-sister when he was 9. Daddy handed her a full canteen of water. Married at 9? I thought ladies were wed until 15. She sat up and drank the canteen. That's true now, but things were different 3,000 years ago. Why did you say his name? Picking her up, he plopped her on his lap like he was about to read her a bedtime story. I had a vision. I saw King Tut's tomb. His coffin had a gold mask with blue stripes. It's beautiful. Violet wrapped her arms around her daddy's neck. How do you know that? They never found his tomb. Olivia held her hand to her throat and gasped. Her power. She must have the power of foresight. Of course, my mother had the same power, and you received it so young. Cooing, he hugged Violet. While hugging her father, her gaze went to the same hill formation she saw in her vision. We're digging in the wrong place. We need to dig over there, she pointed. Oh, honey, we're just digging for fun. It's how these Egyptian men make a living, taking wealthy adventurers on a dig. We never expected to find anything important, Mommy reasoned. But those hills, I saw them in my vision when I zoomed out of the tomb. That's where we need to dig. Standing on her tiny legs, she pointed. Can we dig over there, Daddy? Please, please, please. She clasped her hands together, begging. Smiling down at her, he said, Of course, my dear Violet. Let's go dig over there. Look, Daddy, it's the entrance to Tutankhamun's tomb. Violet pointed excitedly at the stone door they'd reached after only an hour of digging. How in the world are we supposed to move this stone door? It must weigh a ton. Daddy dropped his head, defeated. Bart, dear, remember my powers. Mommy referred to her telekinetic powers. She waved her hand across the stone door and it slowly opened with a loud screaming sound. Thank you, my dear. I'll go in first. Daddy lit his lantern and ducked into the tomb. Wait for me, Daddy. Violet picked up her lantern with one hand and grabbed her daddy's hand with the other. A room filled with treasure greeted them. Gold jewelry, cobalt jewelry, coins, plates, and pottery filled the room, ready to follow King Tut into the afterlife, or so the Egyptians believed. Wow, this is amazing. Mommy followed them into the tomb. Look at these paintings on the walls. They're exquisite. Bart held the lantern suddenly, her eyes focused on the beautiful Cobalt Cauldron. She was drawn to it. She'd never seen anything like it. Picking up, she rubbed off over 3 millennia of dust. The brilliant cobalt blue color mesmerized her. Although heavy in her tiny hands, it was smaller than the ones her parents kept in the attic. She was normally a good child, but a devious moment consumed her. She just had to have this Cobalt Cauldron. Compulsion dictated her. While her parents studied the paintings on the walls, she slipped the Cobalt Cauldron into her knapsack. "Where's the mummy?" Mommy asked, scanning the room. Violet pointed to a set of engraved doors like she saw in her vision. "He's in there. That's the burial chamber." The trio stood in front of the shrine doors engraved with hieroglyphs. "Wait, what if it's cursed?" Mommy stepped back. "Remember my powers, my dear. Daddy can reverse any spell or curse." Standing, he raised his hands above his head. Closing his eyes, he said, "I remove all curses and spells from this tomb of Tutankhamun, Pharaoh of Egypt." "Now it's your turn, my dear." Daddy nodded towards the shrine doors. Again, Mommy waved her hand and the stone walls opened at her non-verbal command. "Me first, me first." Not waiting for permission, Violet walked to the opening, holding the lantern above her head. The lantern illuminated the room, and the gold mask of King Tut's youthful image appeared. "Hi, Tutankhamun. It's nice to meet you." Another vision filled her. The boy King Tut's spirit floated above the Cobalt Cauldron, but not here in his Egyptian tomb. He floated above the cauldron in her room at their home in New Orleans. "Violet, are you all right?" Art knelt next to her. "Uh-huh. Daddy, this is King Tut." Pointing, she kept her vision to herself. "I see that. You were right, my dear. You discovered his tomb. Are we rich now?" She grabbed her daddy's hand. "Violet, we're already rich because of the Manchester dynasty." "Bart, dear, we can't keep any of this." Mommy stood next to Daddy and admired the gold sarcophagus. "I know. It belongs to people of Egypt. Won't they be thrilled to have such a beautiful collection to add to their museum in Cairo? We can't tell anyone. We can neither disturb the dead nor let anyone else disturb it." "Of course, my dear." Violet, take one last look at Tutankhamun. She studied the ornate coffin. "Goodbye, King Tut." Smiling, thinking she thought of her Cobalt Cauldron in her last vision. She'd see King Tut again. "Perhaps the spell's in order, Bart. We should protect King Tut's tomb from looters and grave robbers. The dead need to rest." "Of course, my dear." Daddy raised his hands above his head and said, "Protect this tomb of Tutankhamun. I curse it with an early death to all who open it hereafter." They exited the tomb and outer chamber. Once outside, Mommy waved her hands and the stone door moved back into place. After walking over a mile away, Mommy waved both hands. A sandstorm blew in and covered the tomb's entrance under a mountain of sand. The end. And you can read more of the story